As you can see, we have some new faces with us this morning. Good morning, good morning, come on over. Starting with second-year resident Dr. Melissa King, fresh from the VA.
Everyone calls me Mel.
It's no surprise that after The Pitt racked up 5 Emmy wins, people immediately wanted to know what's next for the series. Well, now we finally have an update, because the creator has been teasing what Season 2 will bring. And the big reveal? A heartbreaking storyline about a sick baby. The Pitt, Max's gritty new medical drama, has quickly become one of the buzziest shows on TV, and fans have been waiting to hear what direction it's going to take, now that it's officially renewed. The show, created by R. Scott Gemmell, pulls back the curtain on the world inside Pittsburgh Trauma Medical Hospital. It doesn't just sugarcoat medicine, but instead gives a raw and unfiltered look at what happens in emergency rooms. The story follows the nurses, doctors, and staff trying to keep things together while still carrying the emotional baggage of what they've already endured. Noah Wiley, who most people know from ER and Leverage, leads as Dr. Michael Robbie Rabinovich, a senior physician who not only manages his team, but also struggles with his own demons, especially the lingering impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. One of the things that makes The Pitt stand out is its format. Each episode unfolds across a single 15-hour hospital shift, kind of like how 24 stuck to a real-time feel. That way, every moment feels immediate, like you're right there inside the chaos of the ER. And because medical dramas are making a bit of a comeback in the 2024-25 TV season, The Pitt's approach has helped it stand apart. Instead of leaning into melodrama, it digs into real-world issues: staff shortages, unfair allocation of medical resources, and the darker realities of healthcare. That willingness to face those topics head-on made renewal by Max a no-brainer. But what really has fans buzzing is Gemmell's tease for Season 2. He revealed during a Writers Guild of America panel that the show will focus heavily on a storyline about a baby who ends up in the ER. The baby's case will span the full 15-hour shift that Season 2 is set around. He didn't outright say the storyline is going to be heartbreaking, but the idea of a baby fighting for survival across that much time already sounds gut-wrenching. Gemmell even joked about how challenging it was to shoot those scenes, since babies can only be on set for short bursts. He laughed that by the end of filming, the baby would be walking to craft services because of how long the storyline stretched across production. This reveal instantly set the tone for what fans can expect. The Pitt already shocked people with its first season by tackling topics other shows would steer away from. From mass shootings to patient assaults, it wasn't afraid to explore the devastating but very real situations ERs deal with. So the idea that Season 2 will take on something as emotionally heavy as a sick baby only reinforces that this show doesn't plan on playing it safe. And if you've watched Season 1, you know how carefully the writers handled sensitive material. They even had a storyline about a child in danger, and instead of turning it into something manipulative or cheap, it was presented with honesty and compassion. It felt authentic to the experiences of ER doctors, not like the show was just pulling at viewers' heartstrings. That's why there's faith the baby storyline will be handled with the same respect. Heartbreaking, sure, but realistic and not exploitative. Still, the risk is there. If this storyline builds across the season only to end tragically, it's bound to leave fans crushed. But that's also part of what makes The Pitt different from other medical dramas. It doesn't guarantee a happy ending, because real hospitals can't always guarantee them either. And while that can be hard to watch, it's also what makes the series stand out in such a crowded TV landscape. Of course, fans also want to know when Season 2 is actually arriving. Noah Wiley has already given some insight on that. He shared that writing is underway, filming will kick off in June 2025, and the current plan is for The Pitt to return in January 2026. That schedule means Max wants to make this a yearly series, with new episodes dropping every year, a rarity for streaming shows nowadays, which often take long breaks between seasons. Season 1 premiered in January 2025 and wrapped up in April. And with the renewal happening mid-season, it shows just how much confidence Max has in the show's future. Now, as far as who's coming back, it looks like most of the core cast will return. The only big departure seems to be Catherine Lanassa's charge nurse, Dana Evans. After being assaulted by a patient and then surviving the trauma of a mass shooting, Dana decided to walk away. Her exit actually mirrors what happens in real hospitals, where the turnover rate is high because the emotional and physical toll can be too much. But even though Dana may be gone for now, the door isn't completely closed on her return. Meanwhile, Noah Wyle will definitely be back as Robbie, still leading the ER team. He'll be joined again by Tracy Ificor as Dr. Heather Collins, who often clashes with him, and Patrick Ball as Dr. Frank Langdon, his loyal ally. Fiona Dourif will return as Dr. Cassie McKay, who becomes a doctor later in life, and Supriya Ganesh as Dr. Samira Mohan, a resident still learning the ropes. Sean Hatosi is likely back as Dr. Jack Abbott, especially after his tense but heartfelt rooftop moment with Robbie in Season 1. Rounding out the team are Isa Briones as Dr. Trinity Santos, Garen Howell as Dennis Whitaker, Shabana Aziz as Victoria Javadi, and Taylor Dearden as Dr. Melissa King. With that lineup, Season 2 is stacked to keep building on the complex dynamics we saw in Season 1. And that's important because the first season didn't exactly end on a peaceful note. By the finale, the hospital staff had survived Pitt Fest, a mass shooting that left everyone rattled. Dana left, Robbie nearly reached his breaking point until Abbott pulled him back, and tensions were at an all-time high. The only closure was that the shift finally ended and everyone got to go home for a short rest. But now, Season 2 is skipping forward in time. Instead of picking up right after Season 1, it's going to jump nearly 10 months ahead and take place during the July 4th holiday weekend. At first, that might sound jarring, but it's actually a clever way to keep the 15-hour format intact while still showing how the characters' lives have evolved. For example, Langdon's battle with substance abuse and McKay's legal troubles can both take on new weight after nearly a year has passed. Viewers won't just see the slow progression of those storylines, but will instead witness the fallout of how those personal struggles bleed into their work at the ER. That time jump also means Robbie's journey will be especially intriguing. At the end of Season 1, he was right on the edge emotionally. Season 2 has to answer the question, did he stabilize over those 10 months, or is he in an even worse place now? His leadership and his own mental health are at the heart of the show, so how he handles the challenges ahead, especially the sick baby storyline, will likely define the season. What's clear is that the Pitt isn't slowing down anytime soon. The series found a winning formula in its blend of realism, intense stakes, and deep character work. And because it's not afraid to dive into the darker, more painful realities of medicine, it's managed to stand out in a genre that can sometimes feel repetitive. With Gemmell teasing that the baby storyline will stretch across the entire season, it's bound to be a test, not just for the characters, but for the audience too. In the end, Season 2 of The Pitt looks like it will carry forward the same fearless storytelling that made its first season such a standout. It's going to be tough, emotional, and at times heartbreaking, but that's exactly what fans have come to expect. With the strong cast returning, the July 4th time jump setting, and the promise of a new medical crisis on the horizon, the show is ready to prove why it deserved all those Emmys. The only real downside is the wait until January 2026. But given what we know, it sounds like it will be worth it. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay in the loop. And if you want, you can share your thoughts about this video in the comments.